I didn't go to my first rave until I was almost 50 years old. This is Seattle, so I've got some lifelong ravers, but I came to it relatively late, or maybe just in time. 6 years ago, my identity, my life, my time was all consumed by work and family. But like many of us on the grind, I was starting to seek something more meaningful, something with a deeper connection. My friend Jesse suggested that we go to our first raves. He was checking things off of his bucket list. And it wasn't just any rave, but it was Electric Daisy Carnival. EDC is one of the biggest raves in the world. It attracts over 500,000 people over the course of 3 days to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm a busy guy, but I like mischief, and I live for story values, so I'm super intrigued. There was no connection between raving and my seeking. It was just an opportunity to be feral in the desert for 3 days. So we made it happen, and it turns out that I discovered so much more than a feral playground. The rave community is united around a philosophy of PLUR, peace, love, unity, and respect. And it means that wherever you rave, you're going to find people who are open and curious and willing to accept you for exactly who you are. The environment is electric with the DJ playing this unsa, unsa, unsa music that you feel in your chest. And the lights and the lasers are just driving your adrenaline. But it's the ritual of dancing with other people, that communal dancing to the rhythmic beats of the DJ that makes you feel connected, and it's so much stronger than anything that you would imagine. We should probably also talk about the drugs. The rave community is very accepting of drugs, and rave drugs are the happy drugs. MDMA, which is Molly if you're under 40, and ecstasy if you're over 40. Floods your system with serotonin and gives you this profound joy and presence in the moment. The psychedelics like magic mushrooms or LSD give the world texture and vibrancy and dissolve your ego enough that you're just connected with the crowd. I'm not saying you have to do drugs in order to get this out of raves, but we're adults. These are relatively safe drugs. If you respect the drugs, they turn the whole thing up to 11. When all these things come together, the community, the culture, the environment, the drugs, you're set in this place where your monkey mind quiets. You get to touch ecstasy, and you live in this moment where it's not just going to be okay, it's going to be great. So you think you might want to rave? Are you over 50? Because there's some benefits to being a little older. If you're fortunate enough to have what they call adult money, and if you're going to a venue that has any form of VIP, it's totally worth spending the money. You get shorter lines to get in, you get shorter lines to get out, and you get shorter lines to go to the bathroom. It's adult raving 101 that you always pay for the upgraded bathrooms. You get a little more space to dance. You can find your own little spot to vibe out. You get your own little moment of bliss. And I'm not saying that there aren't crowds in VIP, but it's amazing how you can find anonymity in the crowd at a rave. I've got a wonderful wife. I'm not looking for Instagram followers, so I can find my own little corner and just bliss out, and people are fine as long as I'm not doing something objectively weird. Personally, though, I fill my bucket by connecting with people in the crowd. The community has this cultural practice of exchanging little trinkets. They call it candy. My favorite form of candy are these little plastic ducks. They glow in the dark. I offer someone a duck. I say, "It's a duck. Don't eat it," because drugs. And we're instantly friends until my journey or their journey takes them somewhere else. The other thing, I'm just less self-conscious. If I'm going to be dancing on concrete for 6 hours, I'm going to wear the puffy shoes, even if they don't match my fit. And I don't mind smelling faintly like menthol as long as my icy hot back patch is doing its job. I'm coming up on 55 years old, and I'm going to continue raving. It's an important part of my spiritual practice. I get that it might not be for everybody, but my hope for each and every one of you is that you find a place where you can be accepted for exactly who you are, and you know that it's not just going to be okay, it's going to be great.